So I opened this book. I'm trying to keep both pages. I opened this book. I was gonna go through it. I changed my mind and want to go through this other book because this is just hieroglyphics. But this is what it turned to. This is the page it turned to. So back here was already over here. I didn't really get to go into the masculine aspects of what I feel our potentials are from this perspective right now. Our surroundings are very part of what we consider our archetypes to be. Our family members, our friends, our jobs, the fact that there's a society based upon jobs, and it depends on how deep we want to go. From a human perspective for me, I'm interested in starting all over with not like destroying anything, but internally, because this is what I can only speak from my perspective of how I went through this process, which was understanding where my identity came from, where my reality came from, where my whole idea of myself, who I am, what is a man, what is a relationship, what is a culture, what is an education, what is everything. Before I can open myself up to anybody else, I need to first know what I'm opening up and who I am, and what's the whole reality if we're talking about going into creating whole communities and cultures, starting over again. This is basically what's it, because we're gonna have to do this. We're doing this all on our own. The culture that has been, the artificial, genetically modified culture that has been created for us has been dead. It has been festering. It's been surviving on festering clouds of illusions for some time now. And we've been convincing ourselves that it's true, that it's a real space. So now that we get through that, now we have to go into, what's next? What are we going to do with, where do we start? What kind of healing is there that needs to be done? What's already on the board right now? What's the latest happenings that's going on with humanity? And it's different for everywhere. It's different for everybody, everywhere. At the same time, it's the same story. And that story is the awareness of, our depth, what it is that led up to this destructive mentality on a collective scale and on a self-destructive scale. Where did all this stuff originate from? Wow. I actually got to be a part of one of these ceremonies with one of these pots, whistles. It's the same one. It looks like the same one, yeah. Jeez. These commercials you can hear how artificial it is. You can taste it. Like if it tastes like French fries. Like that voice, that style, like all that stuff. That's meant to sell you. Like they had to try and practice on whatever it is that sounds a certain way to get you to listen or like or that whole thing. Just like everybody, you know, everybody has it in their own micro ways. Not the waves, the micro waves that we are that create who we are. But there's macro waves that get ways that get sold on the commercial scale every day, and they are a big part of our children's development and what our these are those which was our children's development and what those subconscious commercials are playing within the mentalities of our and the creation, the foundations of our children. What's going on there, and is it the only story that can be played? What is the story? What are the main topics of that story? What are the back issues of the story? What are the what's the intent is the main thing. What's the intent? Because we know our heart's intent. We know our intent as humanity to take care of each other. You can look at the heart of a child and the wisdom of your grandmother or the essence of a grandmother. You can understand what all this stuff is and see that one-sided humanity is the idea that gets sold. It's on television, it's in our books, it's in the half-told histories, the not-told our stories, the artifacts that are still underneath in British museums, and all kinds of stolen artifacts everywhere that we can only make books. We can only look at books of what was left over. We're looking at stuff that was left over. What about all the good? And this is not even the good stuff. This is when they were picking stuff up and like, oh, keep that in there. That's got a good story on it. That's the good stuff. The good stories are like, oh no, don't let that out. That's talking about people coming together and making magic and doing all kinds of stuff. Don't let that stuff out. Don't let those stories get out. What person is this? Bust up all those busts. Bust them up. Bust the noses off all those busts. And let that sink in. Let that sink in with all the other destructive patterns that get sold as part of reality. Selling over and over again the one-sided mentality there's a purpose behind it. There's intent behind it. Yeah, I got to walk right around there. Man. Beautiful artists we are. And just to think, like, all this stuff doesn't exist here because the art systems have been shut down and all of our artists have been turned into like working at the mall or working at the DMV, which is a deeper illusion in itself. It don't even need to exist. All these systems that are optional for truly free individuals, human people, the human person. Well, just speaking through language, like breaking the language barrier, that's a whole barrier. Just looking into other cultures that are the same people, they're doing the same things. That's a whole. The English language is just like another idea of religion being spread or Christianity being spread. It kind of like as much as you can expand it and write poetry and do all kinds of beautiful things. The other languages are the same way. They have deeper areas where they can go and expand upon, but also sharing an essence. Like how many words there are for love and how many words there are for a certain expression or emotion. And English doesn't necessarily have that. It's more based on like the box mentality, like a square social, like here, this and that. That's like this is this and this is that, and there's like a fluidity with Spanish and speaking Italian and even other languages that are out in the rainforest languages and the Amazon. There's a lot out there that is being washed over as if it doesn't exist. We have this gold in our blood, and there's a reason why it has to be the other movies has to be played so loudly to hide out and cover up the heart of the matter of humanity. And that heart is coming out. So I'll end it out there. I'll end it with the heart waking up and breaking the box. Breaking out of that box and seeing that gold and being that gold in every moment. There it is.